This is the Wise Guy Radio Show, a podcast dedicated to educating and inspiring through conversations with today's top talents in the world of glass. We will be dissecting their journeys in hopes to deliver actionable content that you, the artist, can start implementing now, helping you grow not only as a creative spirit, but also a successful artistic entrepreneur. With a little organization, relationship building, and your artistic ability, you can obtain greatness. Climb aboard, whether an artist, retail owner, or enthusiast. We have a ton of fun in store for you. Welcome to the Wise Guy Radio Show. This episode of the Wise Guy Radio Show is brought to you by Mountain Glass Arts. Mountain Glass is holding their January sale, which includes borosilicate Golden Gate tubing at 20% off. Just put in the term Golden Gate at checkout. And they also are holding their soft glass COE 104 sale on a Fetre or a Moretti rod at 30% off. Just put in the word Fetre, that's E-F-F-E-T-R-E at checkout. For any other questions or comments, just go to mountainglass.com. That is mountainglass.com. And this show is also brought to you by Green Flash Glass. And if you are a wholesaler, retail store, get a hold of them through their website at greenflashglass.com. Give them a phone call and place your order. That is greenflashglass.com. And all sales are always free shipping that are $1,000 or more. And now on with the show. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Wise Guy Radio Show, episode number 78. This is Jay Michael, your host. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I am excited to bring you conversations with artists, sharing their stories in hopes to inspire and entertain while helping you grow your business. Hope you guys had an awesome weekend. This is our Monday show featuring our weekly artist, and today we are featuring Charlie Sanford, who so far is our second longest glass artist per se in terms of being behind the torch. He has been behind the torch now since 1993. Has a very, very awesome, unique beginning as he was one of the first in our industry really getting his feet on the ground and learning the process of creating functional art, and still continues to strive to make himself a better artist and learn new techniques and fine-tune his work. He's currently doing a really sweet line of bottles that he's making that are rigs. He's really focused also on his encalmo techniques, which we will be getting into this Wednesday with Shane Penn, talking about encalmo and some different types of gathering of glass in terms of patterning and building forms from different sections of glass, but especially the encalmo technique. So it's kind of fun to kind of tie it all in together per se. And then again on Friday we will have our weekly Q&A session, so anybody has any questions out there you'd like to send in, please send them to info@wiseguyradio.com, and I will look forward to those. We will be getting into all kind of fun topics, and today again is featuring Charlie Sanford. Just to let you guys know too, before I forget, to make sure you sign up for our newsletter and subscribe at wiseguyradio.com. I will be giving out information in next week's newsletter in regards to our upcoming mastermind groups that I will be starting in March. The goal is to spend the month of February to get them together and organize them for everybody interested. And again, the idea with the mastermind group is basically getting a group of like-minded individuals. Not everybody has to have everything in common, but the commonality is that you all get together, including with me, and go over concepts and ideas and brainstorm with each other, for one, to help each other grow as human beings and individuals, but also in the art industry, it's fun to throw ideas at people that you can trust. For one, aren't going to take your ideas and take them in on their own, and two, can give you some really honest answers, whether or not they think that that is going to work, is a good idea, that kind of stuff. Because there's so many times in business in general when you do have these amazing brainstorm light bulb moments, whether it's taking a dump in the shower on your way home in the car or whatever, that at the time sound really amazing, and then you really break it down and think about it or talk to somebody about it, and you find out that A, it already either exists, or B, it just isn't something that's really feasible. So by having a group of people to talk to, and a small group, like I said, like 4 or 5 folks max, really gives you an intimate session with folks to get together. And like Napoleon Hill, and those do not know who Napoleon Hill is, he was an author that wrote a book called Think and Grow Rich, amongst other books as well, but he's most known for his Think and Grow Rich, where he wrote this book for Andrew Carnegie in the 1900s, like early 1900s. But his philosophy about the mastermind group is the idea of taking two minds and creating one mind out of those two minds, which then forms genius. And with genius, the sky's the limit. So I look forward to getting these together with you guys and putting my own together as well. And I am also involved in some mastermind groups already too. And I will honestly say that they have helped me in so many ways on personal levels and also in business. And which is also the main reason why I want to get these going for you all, because I think that as artists, it's something we don't really think about a lot. And my whole goal with this show is to kind of help everybody kind of not change their mindset, but just to give you some new concepts and ideas to use as tools for yourself to increase productivity, increase your life, fun, your relational, things you have with family and friends, just basically to overall improve your life. So before I keep on rambling on here, I'm going to let you guys go. Don't forget, again, go to wiseguyradio.com, subscribe to our newsletter. If you listen to this on iTunes and haven't subscribed to the show yet on iTunes, please do so. It'll help you get these shows automatically downloaded onto your iTunes little categories of shows you listen to. Share with your family and friends if you guys do get the newsletter and are subscribed to that. You can also share the newsletter with your friends and family as well. And also, if you guys can put little tags on your Instagram posts, if you want to post pictures of the shows coming up, any show that you thought was a good show or was your favorite show, if you want to share those on your social media feeds, whether Facebook or Instagram. And other than that, I hope you guys are enjoying this show. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you guys on Wednesday with Shane Penn in our Glass Knowledge segment. And until then, love you guys, and we will talk to you soon. Enjoy this episode with Charlie Sanford. Hey, what's up, Charlie? How you doing, brother?
Not too bad. Good to talk to you, buddy.
Yeah, man. Finally able to get this going, man. We all get so damn busy during the holidays, so it's good to finally link up, man. It's awesome.
It's nuts with the kids, and they have 8 grandparents, so.
Yeah, hell yeah. It's good to do it. Yeah, I saw your pictures on Instagram of the decorations and getting ready for Santa and stuff.
Yep.
Tons of fun. So, before we get too off topic, if you want to start off by giving us some insights to your background and kind of where you got started and what sparked that flame to really keep it going so you wanted to do it on a full-time basis.
Absolutely. Yeah. I met Jerry Kelly in 93, Grateful Dead tour, and we both linked up in Colorado, and I started taking some lessons from him, and it just, kind of went from there. Real basic beginnings. Everyone was just kind of trying to learn things, and people that did know things, they weren't really willing to share, so it was really hush-hush in the beginning like that.
Yeah, man. It's amazing how much has changed.
Yeah, I'm glad it's
cool.
It's really open, and it's nice to have, for people, new guys coming up, to have such a great resource of, just all kinds of alternatives and inspiring people working.
Heck yeah. So at that time and point at the beginning, were you mostly trying to sell your stuff like on lot tour and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, well, I was selling Jerry's work, and then by the time my work was stable enough to sell, it was 94, and Jerry Garcia had died, and it was kind of a bummer, in multiple ways, obviously, but I was really looking forward to take my own work on tour because I had sold his, and Dan Keeling, he was one of my first, him and Jerry were my first teachers, and him and Jerry were selling their work, and I was looking forward to doing the same thing, and it just it kind of ended for a minute, and then once tour started up after that, I did a little bit, but it wasn't really the same feeling, so I just kind of worked at home out of my garage for a while.
You didn't jump on fish or anything like that? You stayed
I did some widespread panic, but I never really felt fish too much, so just wanted to focus on, by that point I was definitely into trying to learn just the mechanics of glass blowing and, trying to market stuff.
Yeah, for sure. What were some of the first things you were like when you got on your own and you were doing that? What were you making at that point?
Pretty much for the first 10 years or so, all there really was fume work. And for the most part, like when I first started, I did the Bob Snodgrass, like the, just line work on the outside with fuming. And then when I met Dan, he was doing the wrap and rake thing. And that really changed the game at that point because nobody else was doing it. I mean, it comes from ancient times, but nobody was really doing it on pipes.
Right.
And when he did, I started doing that. And then I did that solid up until, like 2000. I messed around with wigwags and stuff a little bit, but never really got into it. And then went right into powder and sandblasting. I found Salt at that point, and I was really interested in his work and kind of tried to emulate that a little bit without, not trying to bite it, but it's hard to do since he's such a good artist.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, those kind of guys. It's like Ryan Fitt when he was doing his eyes. Like there's certain cats out there that like do something that we all want to learn how to do with our own style, but you gotta kind of copy theirs at first to really figure it out. Then you put your own little thing on there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because his work too. Like he was like one of the first cats that I remember seeing that was coming out with like really solid color powder work and then creating these crazy creatures and stuff. And then it was just, I don't know, man, it was pretty cool stuff. It was, and all the teeth and gnarliness that he had going on, it was inspiring for sure. Just a completely different concept. And go on, sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say another thing that I thought was really different when I first found his work on like glass pipes is he would have a whole like multiple paragraphs of this in-depth storyline of this piece that was some kind of a mixed creature of different origins and how people would, they were trying to find this animal in the jungle. I remember this one piece that he talked about hunting this creature for days at a time, and he finally found it, and this is what he found, and it was it was obviously a pipe, but it was multiple pieces kind of put together to look like one of his creatures. It was before he was doing that too much, but it was definitely really inspiring. But I haven't done that in quite a while. I've been working on encalmos for the last 4 or 5 years, trying to get those nice and clean.
Yeah, man, that's actually what I've been noticing on your work. I love the work. It's not very like it's it's made to be look easily. How can I say that? It looks like it could be made easily, but in the reality of it, to get it that clean, man, it's not at all. It takes so much practice.
Yeah. I mean, I try to. I really tried to keep things like simplicity is really what I enjoy. And I try to take more, instead of like colors, I'm really into design. And this new design that I've been working on functions really well too. And it's a smaller piece kind of, designed around my lifestyle and other people that I know, just kind of a bonding, travel. It's more of like a bottle shape, kind of like a wine bottle. And I've really been doing a lot. I got my first order for him, actually. I'm pretty excited about it. So
heck yeah. Yeah, I dig them. Yeah, there's some ideas I've thrown around with friends about doing like some bottle shapes and then putting little notes in them and sealing the tops, like the mouthpieces off. I mean, maybe you could do this if you want, and like put a little thank you note inside the piece and then seal it off with like a cork and some wax, like it's a real bottle or like a ship, a note in a bottle kind of deal.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, I think like packaging, I've noticed is becoming something that people really get into, just the way it's presented. When it's posted or whatever, like there's a lot of marketing that revolves around that, and that's kind of been not really my strong suit. Like I fail when it comes to marketing, so I rely on other artists that I know to kind of guide me through. Like with this particular design, I talked to I run a space at Global Glassworks, and Ben Burney runs the shop there, and he's not only a great artist, but he's really good at marketing and trying to get your design out there and helping with that. And so I'm hoping to have a new chance to do that with this piece and get it out to the right markets.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're fun, man, because you can take that bottle shape and do all kind of stuff to them. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, I'm mostly sticking with the smaller ones, but I've made a few bigger ones too. And even on the smaller ones, there's really no splash just because of the way there's I do like a indentation just behind where the banger hanger is. So it's like a splash guard for the water kind of.
Yeah. You have like a 2-hole perk in there or something?
Yeah, I usually do 2 or 3 depending on the size tubing that the downstem is.
Yeah. Hell yeah. So, because I saw you did one of those with the encalmo with the purples and blues. It was really pretty.
Yeah, I'm really getting into those new, like that purple lollipop is really at the top of I've probably gone through 2 pounds of it already.
Yeah, no shit. So kind of to back up too, man, to your beginnings, like when you first got back home and you were kind of going through the process of really finding your way, was there like any kind of inspiration you were like taking, like before the whole salt thing, the powders and stuff? I guess when you're doing all your wrap and rake work, like, did you have any other artists out there that your works you're looking at, or was it just kind of coming from the inside and just kind of figuring out what you wanted to do and what sold?
I mean, I unfortunately, that's one of the things that, I like to think, like if I had to do it all over again, I would try to immerse myself in the community a little bit more. Like nowadays, the last 5 or 8 years, whatever, I've been trying to get out there and do the Michigan Glass Project and get involved in different collabs and stuff like that. But in the beginning, there really wasn't a lot of that community-based stuff, so we would just sit around, and I feel like I got stagnant just because I knew one technique, one or two techniques, and I just kept doing that over and over again, and it kind of turned into a production line, which in the beginning I never wanted it to be production. I wanted to do one-ofs, but there wasn't really a market for that back then.
Yeah, that's true. I know what you mean. It's got to be interesting. It's it's like as soon as Operation Pipe Dreams happened, it was kind of the same thing. It kind of it went almost back to the opposite direction where the production went away, but the one-offs kind of started. It's kind of where we had to go to, unless you had an outlet for production.
Yeah, we were lucky here in Michigan for a little while. There was a really steady buyer, but it's kind of fragmented now, and a lot of times they like to buy from kind of like an established proto company that has a catalog, and it's hard to come across. But I try to do AG and different things like that to just get pieces out there to be seen.
Yeah, are you going this year to Age?
So my work is definitely going to go, but since it's only a couple weeks away, I'm probably going to be tied up here. But I'm definitely going to send some work. Global Glassworks is going to have a booth there, and we have a lot of independent artists as well as proto stuff going on there. So I think you got 2 booths, so it should be a pretty good spread.
Yeah, man, that's pretty cool that they do that for you guys. It's smart for a studio to kind of bring that together. That's kind
Absolutely.
that's kind of the concept that we're taking at my place, is kind of like have like the studio be its own entity as a representative for the artists that are in the space.
Nice.
Kind of thing, kind of concept. Because I see that's kind of a trend I've been seeing going on for a couple of years, which St. Elmo's and frickin' Everdream and some of those cats, the guys up in Philly, like all these different studios, they all stick together and the entity represents all them as a whole. It's pretty badass.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to support each other, especially with collabs and like working together. It's a lot like hip hop music. Everybody kind of works together within that community to because we're all going for the same thing. And the greatest thing about glass is there really is no ceiling. There's always something new to learn. You never feel like, oh, I'm done. I mean, there's always something new to learn.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. That's one of the things about it I love so much, is just the constant learning. It's constant. Even things I've done before 1,000 times, I can still find a different way of doing it better.
Yep.
It's pretty cool. So besides Age, do you do Champs, or have you gone to like Grassroots or any of the other ones?
I went to Grassroots in Austin a couple years back, and a lot of it's just since I'm a family guy and I got a couple kids, it's just hard to be gone any length of time because my wife also owns a business, and we kind of take turns, so we don't have to do any kind of daycare or anything like that. I mean, they're older now, they're 8 and 10, but still, I mean, we want to be completely involved, so doesn't always work out, but I really like to do it whenever I can because it kind of reinvigorates me. When I come back, I'm always recharged. It's hard after 23 years to really stay motivated sometimes, not because of the work, more just my body. It's hard to stand there because I don't sit that much because it messes up my back, so I try to stand and keep my back and legs stretched out.
Yeah, man, that's a great transition because I was actually going to ask you that next. Like, how are you feeling? Are you feeling like any kind of arthritis or any tendonitis in your shoulders or wrists or hands?
Not so much that. It's been my legs, really. That's been the main problem. And the wintertime is the worst. Like, I used to have those heat mats. How you can get, it's the same size as the anti-fatigue mat, and then it kind of radiates a light heat. I've gone through a couple of those here in Michigan. Our shop is a pretty big industrial space, and all the floors are cement, so it can get cold. But aside from that, I just try to push through that and work 6-8 hours a day, pretty much in there all days. But Sunday I try to make that family day and hang out.
Yeah, man. So so back to the pain thing, because myself personally now, because I've been doing production forever, even though I do custom work as well, but just the constant motion and being at Disney for 4 years now, that's what we do there. We do production, more or less. But
right.
So I'm starting to feel like cramps in my pinkies and my tendons in my hands. Like I was actually doing some research today on trigger finger and that kind of issues. I don't have it right now, but it's a concern that we all can deal with down the road, you know?
Right.
Along with carpal tunnel and all this other stuff. And so we had this farmer's market right down the street from my house on Friday and Saturdays, and a couple weeks we went down there, and they had this people selling this like spray you can put on your body, and it takes away pain or helps with inflammation and stuff. So just out of curiosity, I tried a sample of it, and I don't know if it was a placebo effect or what, but about an hour later, I wasn't even thinking about my hands hurting. And so we went down yesterday and I bought a small little bottle just to try it out and see what happens. And I put a little bit on before I came on here with you, and I'm feeling pretty good, man. It's crazy. I'm actually.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I'm actually going to try and bring them on the show to talk about it. It's an Australian oil of eucalyptus, is what this says on the front of this thing.
Huh.
And yeah, so this Friday I'm going to go down there and get the girl's phone number, and we're going to make a interview time to bring them on, because I think this kind of stuff is definitely pretty big, so we're not having to worry about medicating ourselves or, having to stop doing this because we're in pain. If we can find something that's going to help us, because like I deal with numbness at night when I'm sleeping sometimes. I don't know.
You get that in your hands or in your feet, or?
Yeah, I get them in my hands, like especially my right hand. It's my prominent hand anyways, but yeah, I've done some bigger things over the years, so I don't know if it's from the weight, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. I mean, I try to do yoga a few times a week, and that tends to help. But I mean, I know a couple of people that are yoga instructors that do it daily, and they still get sore. I think it's just a matter of, we're getting older,
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just going to happen. Just going to have to learn how to deal with it and do the best we can,
Yeah, man. I always say getting a massage is one of the best things you can do, even if it's once a month. Just going and getting a good stretch and a massage helps out
Absolutely.
tremendously. Because I was finding like a lot of my numbness I was having, my massage therapist was telling me it was either from my forearms tendons being too tight, or also my shoulder muscles and tendons pinching a nerve. So once they would work those areas, I could definitely tell a difference where my hands weren't cramping up or going numb while I was sleeping.
Yeah, a lot of it. I remember there was an article in the Flow years back that a guy that was a doctor, made these suggestions about proper posture for working and stuff like that. And that's kind of what, made me start working standing up. I noticed Robert Mickelson, like when I first started following his work, he was standing too. And, I guess the theory is that if you keep your work at chin height, you're not hunching over, because a lot of times you tend to hunch with your shoulders, especially with the kind of work that we do with your hands out in front of you.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I just try to keep proper body mechanics, I guess, while I'm working. I try to work a couple hour blocks and take a short break, just, move around, stretch my legs, get some water, and then get back to it.
Yeah, man, that's what I always preach. Like 3-hour blocks I think are good. It's like, because it usually takes like an hour to warm up and get your flow, and then you got good 2 hours of banging it out.
Yep.
So take your breaks. But yeah, it's important. Do you have a mat you stand on, like a soft mat?
Yeah, we have those anti-fatigue mats at the shop of varying thicknesses, and they help a lot. I mean, we had Robert Mickelson come out for a class a couple weeks ago, and we have a separate teaching side to the facility, and there wasn't mats on that side, and I'm kind of standing there, watching him work and doing different things, and it was a huge difference, between that and standing on those mats all day. So they definitely help.
Heck yeah, that's important. So besides your bottles that you're doing now, what else are you working on?
Pretty much just those. I've been working on those for quite a few months, and doing prep. A lot of times some of the prep will take a day or two, and I'll just, try to focus on that and then focus on the design afterwards, or try to sketch something out. But I was doing just regular rigs besides that. And, I mean, nothing out of the ordinary. I like to do goblets. That's probably some of my favorite stuff to do, but I haven't been able to get into it too much lately, just trying to keep up with other things. But
yeah, that's what I was going to ask, if you like what other kind of stuff you do outside the pipes, like sculpture wise or besides the goblets.
Yeah, I do some solid sculpture stuff with I coat clear and powder and sculpt, different designs and stuff like that. But really, with time being as limited as it is, with the way life goes on, when I'm in there, I just try to focus on the designs that I'm working on for that particular, order. I stopped doing customs just because that became problematic. So I try to make the pieces that I like to make, and I put them on Facebook and Instagram, and wait for a collector to come around, or I just sit on them for a while. I mean, I used to go back and forth on pricing, but I'm just not anymore. It's so much more satisfying to stick with something and get what you know that you deserve out of it.
Yeah, that's a great point, bro. Absolutely. And when you first price your stuff, it's not always easy to really figure it out. It takes a little bit of trial and error kind of thing, but
yeah,
you got to set a base at least, that it's worth at least this much. And everybody says it's only worth what the person's going to pay for it, but there's a value to it. Everything's got a value, a base value to it. So yeah, that's pretty good.
You got to shop it around too, because every market, even in just in my state or other states, I mean, just different sides of the state are going to be a completely different market. So one thing that's selling good somewhere might not sell good somewhere else, and vice versa.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why I was asking about your bottles, if you had like a diverse set of stuff now. But with those bottles too, man, like you can still make those things so different. All the different stuff you can do to them, shapes and colors and things you can add to them, and it's a fun little fun foundation. So with your wife having a business too, what does she do?
She owns a hair salon in downtown Lansing, and she just hit the 10-year mark this past year, and
rad.
Works out pretty good.
Heck yeah! So you guys, just like you're saying, you take turns with the kiddies when you guys need to.
Yep. Yeah, the town that we're in is a tiny little farm town. It's just under 1,000 people, and now they're both in the same elementary school, and literally they can walk back and forth to school, and it's a big relief to us, and it takes it saves time in the morning. We don't have to drive to do two different schools, and we like it here.
Yeah, that's awesome. Who does the books? Do you guys have someone outside of you guys, like an accountant you work with, or do you guys do it yourself?
Yeah, we have an accountant in Lansing, and the way that I've always done it is just I keep all my receipts and tallied up and give those stats to him at the end of the year, and hope that we get something back.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's one of the things having kids, though. It helps out with some of the tax breaks,
Yep.
Hell,
How many you guys have?
2 actually. My daughter's 16 and my son's 8.
Oh wow, that's a big difference.
Yeah. The first one wasn't planned. The second one was, in a sense.
Sure.
But it's actually worked out. Yeah, man, it's pretty cool. She had her first little high school dance, I guess, 2 days ago.
Oh, and, that's cool.
Which is fun. Yeah, getting to be a part of all that stuff. And my wife actually my wife's a teacher, so she was able to get in as a chaperone because they have to do like these background checks and a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
And so since she's already a teacher, she's already in, so she got to go be a part of it and hang out with all the moms there and make sure they're all staying 6 feet apart.
That's cool. What does she teach?
She's an elementary art teacher.
Oh, nice, man. That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, she's pretty cool because I get to go for the Great American Teach-In once a year and go there and do a demo for the whole school. Oh,
you take your gear down there and
I have like
set it up?
Yeah, I have like a basic little national setup I go down there with. A couple sawhorses and a tabletop, kind of deal.
Nice.
But, yeah, it's crazy, man, because like it gives me an appreciation for them because I literally have to do one grade at a time. So it's like I'm doing K through 5 like a regular school day. And by the time the day's over, dude, I'm hoarse and I'm ready for a glass of wine in bed.
Wow. So you do each one. You stop and start for each grade.
Yeah, it's interesting too having to like change the way you describe certain things or what you're gonna do based on the kids and their attention spans, especially when you're dealing with kindergarten. They're the worst side of it. But it makes it pretty cool. Some of the kids are very curious and they want to come up and like touch stuff, and we have like cones set up and they don't really care about the cones and so that kind of stuff can be an issue. But otherwise, it's a lot of fun and it's cool to expose the kids to something completely different and they be able to do it on a normal basis. Like every year I go back there and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's kind of a universal thing when people see that, all the demos I've done, I kind of relate it to, the first time people saw fire, they're just, it's like a primal thing to be attracted to the flame and using that as a tool to do whatever with.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think that's what makes the whole pipe concept and like what we do to create them and then have them be used in like a ceremonial sense. It's pretty, it's fascinating. It kind of all transcends, especially something that we're doing that's, a glass art that's several hundred years old. Well, at least like glass in general. So it's interesting keeping the tradition going in a different form.
For sure. I plan to. I've taken my kids in and let them work here and there, but it's hard because you never know if they're gonna. You got to be careful not to let them get hurt, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was nervous with my daughter the first time. I think she was like 8 or 9.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, yeah, I can do this on my own. I'm like, all right. And then sure shit, man, she turned the torch on, had no problems, grabbed a rod of glass and balled up a ball and added colors to it and put a loop on it and was done. Like, I shit you not, dude. It was crazy. And that was after like one demo, like showing her, holding her hands, walking her through it. And it was like a blob of glass, but it was still a functional, weird looking pendant that she made. It was pretty cool.
Kids learn a lot quicker, it seems like, nowadays than when we were younger. It makes me sound old, but
right.
I mean, I've noticed that with my kids. Like, they pick up on stuff instantly. It's like you're almost over explaining and they're irritated.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, how old are you?
43. Just turned 43 last month.
Nice. Hell yeah. Yeah, man, it's crazy. And I think too with the newer generation of glass artists out there that have all this knowledge that's out there for them to get and potentially apprentice under somebody, the new technology, it'd be nice to have a GTT or like a newer Bethlehem or something like that was available back then and all the colors that were available back then.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely have a leg up for sure. I've seen people progress at amazing rates.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? I love it. It makes me kind of jealous at times, just because.
For sure. You bastard.
Right, I know. But I still preach you got to start with that foundation. Just make some bullshit just to start off, to figure it out what you want to do and not just jump into making the high-end stuff,
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's kind of a hard thing with pipes in general, is that people are under the impression that everything they make has value, and sometimes it just doesn't. Just everything you make doesn't have to sell. Sometimes it's just a learning lesson,
Yeah, exactly. It's just like I see kids that are bitching about companies raising their prices on materials, and I'm like, it's just the way it is. Business is business. You just raise your prices. And if you're just starting off, I'm sorry that it costs you a little bit more you got to waste to learn this shit, but start off in clear,
Yeah.
Don't complain about it. So, yeah, man. So in terms of the colors, I guess let's go into there, man, because I'm kind of curious. Like, did you ever get into like the Draconis colors and all the different brands out there that don't exist anymore at the time? Or like types of colors, like the old OG mosses, and
Yeah, I mean, there was really only probably 8 or 10 colors when I first started. There wasn't really a whole lot of colors, and then it's progressed from there. But I mean, there is unlimited hues of every single color. I mean, it's like you say, it's definitely come a long ways for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting. I just wish that they'd bring some of these colors back. Like that, like some they brought back that I'm like, meh. But some that they bring back, I'm like, man, I wish they'd bring this back. Like,
I guess they reformulated jade. We just got some of that, and I haven't tried it yet. But
I heard that. Yeah, totally. Actually, I was talking with Lurch the other day, and he said like in one of his favorite colors right now is jade. And I'm like, oh shit, I didn't realize that they even still had that.
Yeah, I mean, I gave up on that stuff a while ago. It was so bad. And,
oh man, hell yeah.
Yeah, we got it back in, and I actually forgot about it until recently. I gotta get up on that.
Yeah, I need to check it out. It's an awesome green color for sure, shade wise. But it cracked like a son of a bitch, or it checked on the surfaces. Like I remember making pieces, man, where you could actually like feel an edge of the green coming off the surface of the clear all the way around the whole piece. Just it's weird, but that's what's cool too about glass is the whole getting into the science of it and really figuring out molecular structure with it.
Mm-hmm.
So on the business side of stuff, how do you take your payments? Do you guys have like a merchant account you deal with, or do you do PayPal?
Pretty much PayPal for the most part. I haven't had any problems with it. I know other people have, but I mean, it's probably not a bad idea to figure something else out, because I've heard of people's accounts getting frozen and money getting taken and things like that. So that wouldn't be good.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. I use PayPal myself as well, but I just don't put any kind of word of pipe or anything in my descriptions or any of that kind of stuff, just to avoid it completely.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and if you make it as a gift, that's a lot less reason for skepticism too, and it makes it so it doesn't charge you an extra $4 or $5.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the only benefit, I mean, if you want to call it a benefit, is I use that for like a tax write-off, those PayPal fees that they have that you get.
Oh man, I never thought of that.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, it sucks, but it's because like I've gone through and like done my totals, and I'm like, wait, I was charged a shit ton of money for this, you
Yep.
know. So it's like with like your glass scraps. I pretty much say it almost every episode. I bring it up just because like all your scraps of glass that you throw away, that's all tax write off too.
How do you account for that?
Basically what I've done, which with my account, like we were like I think it was a year or two ago we did it. Basically the bucket that my knockoff bucket I weighed out empty, and then whatever every Friday or so I was trying to dump the water out and then weigh it, and then
Uh-huh.
just subtract the difference from what the the bucket is empty, and
Wow.
and then I have like because I don't use a lot of color, so I do like a 80-20 ratio, so it's like 80% clear, 20% color, and then I say like my color's probably around $60 a pound, and the clear is maybe like $3 or something, 350.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just do the math from that, and then just try to add it up every month, and just keep that
Huh.
with my monthly books.
Yeah, that's a smart thing to do. I know people that have large quantities of that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. And it sucks because we really can't recycle it. We have to separate all your shit out if you want to go throw it in the furnace and melt it down or something. But it's like, you know,
I taught at a trade show a while back. I talked to Dave Winship about that, and he developed. There's actually a market for that for scrap. I mean, mostly clear. Of course, you can't have it all mixed together, but he sent us a couple of pieces, these skulls that were shaped from recycled glass, and they are able to do stuff with it. And with horticultural community too, there's soil additives that are made from recycled boro.
no kidding. Okay,
Yeah.
that's good to know, man. I had no idea. I'll have to look that up. That's fascinating. Huh. That's good to know.
Yeah. But yeah, writing it off sounds like a great. I mean, not for me because I probably don't have a lot, but
Uh huh.
people that have proto shops and stuff, it just gets tossed out. I mean,
Yeah, imagine
big,
like pulling points all the time. It's a problem I used to have, and that was like my biggest waste was all these points I was throwing away, or handles.
yeah.
It sucks. Like I reuse them now for like doing little like lenses or some shit. Something little silly thing, but it's not always easy to do.
Yeah, I used to pull points, and I still pull points for goblets and shaping and stuff like that. But anything with pipes, I blow tube up, and usually 14 or 16 mil, something like that. I just feel like I have a more solid grip on it even with some of the smaller pieces. But I like to have the same size, like same diameter in both hands.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, especially when you're trying to make a consistent bubble or something like that for like a cup or some kind of cup top.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. Yeah, because there's always that argument of whether you should pull points or just pop a hole and throw a blowpipe on, kind of deal. I don't know. I've always just depends on like you're saying, like what you're doing. Big stuff, you can start off with points, but you got to put a blowpipe on eventually.
And I honestly, as far as from a learning standpoint, I think it's good for people to start off learning pulling points because it gives you, a really good idea of how the glass works, and then you can straighten the points to get your section straight. And I mean, it's good for the learning curve, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. When I do like a crash course for pipe making, that's the first thing I make them do is just take a tube and just pull it down to points. Because
Nice.
there's so much you learn in glass flow and then rotation and there's so much different things going on and consistency and working slow and you can go on so much involved in pulling points. And that's why it's like again I say I start off with teaching that. Plus it's a good way to warm up your hands and stuff in the mornings.
Yep, absolutely.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, do you have anything coming up, like any kind of projects or shows that you're getting into besides the trade shows in your area?
I'm just working on a few different collabs right now, and then some of that might get sent out. But for the most part, I try to stick around just because it's time consuming to go. But a couple of distributors that I work with, I usually send stuff with them to go out. Try to get orders that way.
Heck yeah. You were saying you get involved with the Michigan project?
Yeah, that's been going on for 5 years now, I think. I'm not sure. They have a page on IG, but all the proceeds go to. It was going to the Belle Isle Aquarium, but now it's going to money for kids art classes. So that's kind of cool. It kind of bonds with what we're doing anyways. And this past year we had a lot of big name guys come out, Snodgrass and Germ and Voorhees and Talon and a bunch of other guys. And I think they probably had their biggest donation. I mean, I donated like $1,000 worth of stuff on top of, they give you a spot to do demos, and then you can work on a piece to donate while you're there, and then bring pieces with you if you want. And it's just a really good chance for the community and collectors and just people in the industry to get together and share ideas.
Yeah, and it's cool, man, too, because it's not just like it's not a trade show. It's an event that we all get together and have fun.
Yeah, it takes the emphasis off the individual, like trying to make something cooler than somebody else, because you're making it for a donation for a good cause, and it's just a nice opportunity.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was thinking I'd started a Facebook page for a Florida project. I had some ideas on ways about going and doing like some international kind of collaborations, like with chandeliers or something, like where everybody can pitch in like a component for a chandelier, and then assemble it and then auction it off, type stuff.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. I mean, it started with the Colorado project and went from there. I mean, it definitely would be nice to do it other places. Yeah,
I agree. Especially, I like the idea too of the arts for the kids programs and what have you. It's so important to have that, and a lot of schools are losing it, or it's not an emphasis anymore, which sucks.
Yeah, that's a benefit with us, being kind of an artistic family, is that our kids are really into art, and they see that that's a way that you can live your life. I try to explain to them, if they're sick at school and they want us to come get them, and sometimes we do and sometimes we don't, but when we do, we try to, not a lot of people can just drop everything that they're doing, and I just try to keep it in perspective to them that there are still sacrifices. They're like, oh, it's so cool that you get to do this, and that's what your job is, when they see other people that don't enjoy their job so much, but there's still, trade-offs with everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's takes discipline as well.
Yeah.
Especially when
big time.
It's nice being able to go to a studio, because I've worked out of my house forever, and then having a place to go to, it makes a huge difference too with that, being able to be disciplined. Yeah,
it kind of helps you to, when you get tired and you're thinking, oh, maybe I shouldn't finish this, I'll finish it tomorrow, but there's 5 other guys that are sweating their ass off, working. So you're like, oh, maybe I will work a little bit longer. That's what I like about where I work, because it is a lot of younger guys, and they, have a lot of drive to get stuff done, and it keeps it going for me too. So that's nice.
Yeah, it's awesome. So what kind of torch are you working on?
I got a kabuki right now.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I got a Mirage as well, but I usually use a kabuki. And I'm really liking that. I like the mid-range flame better than the Mirage. It's working out a lot better for me. A little more heat with that bigger outer ring too.
Yeah. That's actually I'm in the market for the kabuki myself. That's what I'm gonna get.
Nice.
Yeah, I ran coils one day. I got a chance to jump on his this time last year, and it was such a different experience on a torch. And I've been running a Carlisle forever, so it's a whole different thing for me as well. But it was cool to get on there and have those different stages. But like you're saying, that mid-range flame, I understand what you're saying. That definitely makes a difference. I've ran on a Mirage too, and I like them both. But I think the kabuki overall is a good general torch.
Yeah, it's just a little more versatile, I guess.
Yeah.
And the Carlisle is just so loud. Like, there's a couple of those in our shop, and I realize that's when it's time to get the headphones out when those start up, because it's just like that loud crackling type noise,
Yeah, dude, fuck yeah. Yeah, I've actually tried running mine now at a point where I can kind of hear it. Like, there's times where I gotta blast it, but generally, yeah, you definitely need to. And those guys that are running those things, they should wear earbuds themselves, because it's gonna that long-term exposure to that noise.
Yeah, good point.
Or maybe they're running them wrong, because they don't necessarily need to have too much pressure coming out that center flame.
That's true.
Or something. I don't know. Everybody runs their shit different. So what kind of tools are you running? What's your favorite stuff to work with?
Actually, I just got some new tools from a guy that's here in Michigan, and man, I'm drawing a blank on his name because I just met him. Nathan Smith, and I swear to God, it's the best, most densest graphite. All of his tools are graphite. I think he makes a couple of V-notching tools and stuff, but it's when I first saw him on Facebook, I thought it was like brass or steel or something. That's how shiny it is. And when you get it and hold it in your hand, it's the same way. It lasts pretty good. And I have a short, kind of stubby reamer that I got from him that goes up to about 25 mil. And I use that quite a bit. And I like to get a couple more tools from him. But aside from that, just the basic stuff.
Yeah, you got do you have a pair of used jacks or anything like that, like small jacks at all?
I used to have a set of small jacks, like the mini jacks, and then I ended up selling them to Jerry, just because when I bought them, I just wasn't experienced enough to use them. And but nowadays, especially for goblets and stuff, I wouldn't mind getting a pair. And Griffin Glass Tools just came out with a small, like mini set of jacks that a buddy of mine picked up, and I messed around with those a little bit for just opening up the ends of things and stuff. And they're super quick because they have a spring that compresses out kind of.
Yeah.
So they're pretty sweet.
Hell yeah. I use a pair of I guess they're like bent neck tweezers, and the tips have like a tungsten tip on them that comes to a point.
Yep.
Yeah, those are like my new favorites. I've probably used them now for like 5-6 months, and haven't had any issues with the tips getting burnt or anything weird happening to them. They stay sharp, and I'll sometimes throw them on some wax on them just to kind of give them some glide.
Nice.
For bigger stuff, and they're good too for like small cup tops and stuff.
Yeah, I used a lot of wax. A couple years ago, I started using that Black Magic wax. It's like graphite impregnated wax.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it works a lot better, and it doesn't. The main problem I had with regular beeswax is that, especially for making ground joints, like it seemed to crack things easier for whatever reason. But this stuff seems to coat, and it stays on your tools, and it stays on the tools for shaping the joints and stuff like that a lot better. And you can make your own. I mean, you can grind up graphite and put it into regular beeswax too, but it's like a night and day difference in how it coats the tools.
Yeah, I have to check that out, man, because I've used like graphite tape and different things like that, but that definitely makes a difference. And I know what you mean too. I've had that experience with the wax and joints cracking, and I don't know if it's like an expansion thing or heat shock or I don't know. It's weird. Incredible.
One of the things I guess that stands out, like the email that you sent about the different questions about one that stood out was like the beginner glass blower self advice.
Yeah.
I like that, and I think the biggest thing I would say is that don't be afraid to try new things and work with others as much as possible. Try not to get stagnant. Being on your own. Try to push yourself to get out there and just take somebody like Mapleson. I mean, nobody even knew that guy's name, and he had that one design, that wormhole thing, and then he traveled all over the country working with different artists, and now he's like a household name.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, once you get a design like that you feel comfortable with, travel around and work with different people and just get it out there, because the sky's the limit. And I mean, I think I think there's room for everybody. I think this market is just going to keep continuing to get bigger and bigger.
Yeah, especially as laws change. And speaking of laws, I guess I know you guys have medical, right, up there?
Yeah, we're looking at going fully legal here pretty soon, hopefully.
Hell yeah. Is that going to be happening like this next election? They talking about it?
Yeah, they're putting it into this year's election, I guess.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we got the same thing going for medical. I guess one thing at a time. We missed it out by like 3% last time we had an election, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, they were really. I remember it was harsh for a long time down there. It's nice that they're opening up with that a little bit.
Yeah, thank God. Looking forward to not worrying about shit anymore,
Yep.
Sucks. Yeah, man. All right, dude. We'll let's take a quick break to thank our sponsors, and then we'll come back, and it'll be time for us to crash the kiln.
Sounds good, buddy.
All right, cool. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/WiseGuyRadio. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. That's at www.audibletrial.com, AUDIBLETRIAL.com/WiseGuyRadio. All right, man, we are back. quick break there. And yeah, man. So this round we are going to have around 6 questions. If you want to give me like a 30 to 60 second answer, you can expound upon them if you would like. And other than that, it's time to crash the kiln.
Let's do it.
The first question I like to ask always is, if you could work with any living glass artist that you haven't worked with before, who is it and why?
I would have to say Cesare Toffolo. I mean, I've appreciated his work since the beginning. I mean, basically, the precision with his goblets and, just blows me away. And his history with the medium, just Italy in general, is where a lot of our stuff comes from. And I've always dreamed of traveling there and working, not necessarily working with him, but at least, maybe learning something from him and just soaking up that whole atmosphere.
Yeah, man, his work is insane.
Just incredible. Even the pictures that he takes, I really like how they do that thing with the mirror, where his piece will be on the corner of a mirror, but still with that transitional gradient background.
Okay, yeah.
They're really nice.
Yeah, he's amazing. If you could describe the sound of glass cracking in one word, what is it?
Oh, headaches.
Perfect. If you want to give me your top 5 favorite colors in glass?
Oh, man, there's so many good new ones. But like I was saying before, that purple lollipop, I've been using quite a bit of that. I really like that. And my trusty favorite, black violet, I use for a lot of the in-between, the in-combo bands. And I just use, like stringers and just lip wrap the ends. Siberia blue, I really like. The light blue stardust is pretty amazing. And the Illuminati is just crazy. I mean, that stuff is so much more saturated than like the Dow stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's a lot of fun. So what's your worst injury in the studio?
I got burnt really bad right after I moved back to Michigan from Colorado. On my hand, pretty much right on, I have a tattoo over it now, but it's, on my hand, kind of just above my thumb, and a piece fell on it, and just, I don't know why, but I decided to wipe my hand on my pants right after I did it, and it completely took off that top layer of burnt skin, and there's still a pretty bad scar. The tattoo covers it up a little bit, but that took quite a while to heal. Anything on your hands, as you know, just the heat from working just intensifies the pain, and it takes forever.
Yeah, I'm dealing with the same thing myself right now. Sucks. It's been like a month and a half or something like that, and it's just at a point where it's like, it's not scabbing up anymore, basically.
That sucks.
Yeah, it's brutal. Yeah, I hit the hot tube on my hand and just like smeared it across my hand, and like you're saying, like my skin kind of went with it. It was like, oh my God, what the fuck did I just do?
Yeah, we got some of that Silvadene a couple years back. My son burned his foot, stepped in a campfire, and we still have it, and I use it, or I haven't had to use it actually, but I took it to the shop, and from time to time, the guys will use it if they get a burn, and that stuff's amazing.
Yeah, it works right away. So speaking of the studio, when you're there, you watching TV, listening to the radio, or do you guys do both?
Pretty much just the radio. Usually just earbuds, or there's a shop radio, but people argue about it all the time, so I just find it's easier just to throw some headphones on.
Heck yeah. Yeah, it's interesting seeing different places. 'Cause some shops, like, they have like a huge TV in there for everybody to watch if they want to watch it. It's like, it's interesting to kind of hear how different places run. Because I know some places are like earbuds only, type things. Like, so
we've gone back and forth with different rules with it, but I mean, I don't know. It's hard to. It's honestly, for me, it's nice to go in there and have it quiet because family life is kind of loud here, so a lot of times it's a nice break for me to drive there and just kind of decompress and get in my zone.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. So for our last and final question, if you were stranded on an island that had a glass studio on it and only supplied your gases, a kiln, and your torch, what 5 items would you bring?
Let's see. I'd definitely bring lots of prep. That'd be the first thing I want to bring.
Heck yeah.
Carving blade would be good. like a fat stubby reamer, like the one I just got, is indispensable with encamos. And like a straight claw holder, if there is such a thing.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else?
That's the one important thing. Which I may have to start including in the question because everybody forgets it.
I guess tunes.
You got to protect your eyeballs.
Oh, I thought that was already part of the.
No,
what
I leave it out just because it makes people like forget it.
Oh, yeah, that'd be important for me too because I have prescription ones because my eyes are so crappy.
Oh yeah, man. So let's talk about that real quick because I'm in the market myself for prescription glasses that are for Didenium. How'd you go about doing that? Did you take your script to like your place and have them do it for you?
I sent it to Aura Lens Pro, and that was probably like 10 or 12 years ago, but there's a lot of other places. I just got a pair of Nectars that I really like, and they said that they can do a prescription too, but there's certain frames that they have, like the kind of Ray-Ban style frame that I liked, didn't hold up for more than 6 or 8 months, and I think it's just the intense heat, and there's not as much plastic around the actual lenses, and they cracked from that. So but there's a lot of more stylish alternatives than the ones that there used to be. So but yeah, you can usually do it through I think the first ones I got, I did it right through my optometrist, but
do you know about how much they ran you?
They were like $500. They weren't cheap.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, that's what they were when I priced them out last time. They're like $450, $500.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, but it's good, man. If you gotta have them, you gotta have them, and it's gonna definitely make a difference because you're not straining your eyes and shit, and you have to wear those big blue blocker styles.
Yeah, I hate having something over the glasses because it just sometimes it creates like a fog or just a separate sweat.
Yeah.
Inside of that, where the glasses are covering it.
Yeah, makes sense, man. Hell yeah. Well, before I let you go, brother, if you can give us one more parting piece of advice to a newbie glass blower or an OG or just all the above to the community, and then also where we can find you out there in cyberspace.
Yeah, I mean, just the way that you're able to go about glass blowing nowadays with all the resources. I mean, it's best to find a good shop or a good community of people and just try to work with them. And either rent a station at a shop where, there's more people there to inspire you to keep working. I try to not let people or try to dissuade them from working at home alone just because it sounds nice to be able to have a shop at home, but it's really easy to get cut off and just kind of not expand things because you get, in your comfort zone. You don't want to try new things. So.
Yeah, I agree 100%, dude. That was my problem.
Yep, I did that for like 8 years when we had our first baby, and it was good and bad. But now I'm back out there again the last 5 years or so, and it's definitely made me feel like I'm growing more as a glass blower.
Hell yeah, yeah, which is awesome, especially after for so long of doing it. It's
good
show. Shit. Yeah, man. Well, thanks, dude. It's been a pleasure having you on. I think so far you are to date the oldest, not in age, but in terms of how long you've been doing this for on the show. So. Well, actually,
nice.
No, I take it back. You are number 2 because I had on Kemp Curtis, who's been doing this for over 40 years. So
nice. Yeah, I've heard that name before.
Yeah, Kemp's a pretty cool guy. He's definitely been innovative in our industry. Not I shouldn't say industry in the pipes, but just in just lamp working in general. His show, I don't remember exactly the number, but I think it was in the 70s, or maybe I don't know. Anyways, yeah, he's definitely got a lot of knowledge, dude. It's pretty cool.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, thanks for the opportunity, and you can find me on Sanford Glass on IG or just Charlie Sanford on Facebook.
Cool. And you're at Sanford Glass.
Yep, SANFORD.
Awesome. But yeah, man, so thanks everybody for hanging on, and all right, talk here with Charlie, and we will see you guys on the next episode. Take it easy.
Peace.
Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of the Wise Guy Radio Show. If you have any questions, comments, or remarks, please leave them in the show notes page area where it says comments. We'll see you soon. Have a wise night.